How's it going, Laser Bruces? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to Ever 17. Now we're going to be continuing our way, hopefully, down Sora's path to Sora's good ending. But at this stage, nothing's set in stone. We're playing as Takeshi still, so this should be interesting because the entire game seems to be playing completely differently now that we're down this side. So let's carry on anyway. The light suddenly went out and then flashed back on. That's right, we were going to go to the generator like we had to do last time. There was a dull, heavy metallic echo. At the same time, there was a slight tremor. What's that? That tremor felt like it came from below. Below? I wonder if something happened below. I'll try to investigate. Saying that, Sora held her hands out in front of her. Oh! Just then a strong lateral vibration jolted the floor. The holographic window that Sora had conjured vanished. Sora? It's alright. The monitor is back online. I'm initiating a scan. Water has penetrated the material storage space in Sector 6 of Drite stock. It's flooding? I didn't see any signs of that when I made the rounds. Oh shit. This does not look good. The sound of metal giving way accompanied the massive shaking. Scenes from old movies of luxury liners being swallowed by the ocean flashed across my mind. There is damage to the passageway connecting the sectors. Actually, the sound effects are very similar to the ship in 999, aren't they? The creaking, groaning sounds that the ships make. Not that it's a ship, but you know. Sounds similar. Multiple leak areas, and increasing. Hey, don't you think we should grab hold of something? Yes, everyone grab something and steady yourself. Okay. I reached out for a support pillar nearby. Coco crouched down as she squeezed Pee-Pee tightly. Everyone held their breath. Boom, boom, boom. Jesus, the shaking. A huge shockwave rocked us. The whole floor, or rather, the whole of Lemu shook. I thought I'd be thrown into the ceiling 1 second or pulverized into the floor the next. The souvenir shop in front of me trembled. The display of dishes in the shop fell to the floor and shattered. The pile of empty cans clattered and gave way. A stuffed animal made a beeping noise as it fell on its stomach. We all steadied ourselves against the shaking. All we could do was endure it. No one said anything. We could hear the squeal of steel twisting. It sounds like this place is way more wrecked this time than it was when we were playing as kid. So much is different. A lot is the same, but so much is different as well. Even though technically it's the same. I don't know if it's the same timeline, but you know what I mean. It's like a divergent timeline. Finally, the sound seemed to get further away. The vibrations also gradually subsided. Sora announced that the second wave of flooding had finished. Still wary, we headed downstairs. We carefully moved forward down the wet and slippery stairs. With every step, the scent of seawater seemed to grow stronger. It smells like fish in here. We arrived at Drite stock basement floor 3. The water level in the corridor reached around my shin. It must have been about 6 inches deep. Lemu can't pump out all this water? It appears not. All major areas where leaking has occurred have been closed off by shutting a partition. However, water is continuing to flow in through small ducts even now. The water clearing pumps are operating at full capacity. But to make the water level recede, that's right, and the pumps weren't working when we were playing as kid. The big hole will have to be plugged. Is that what you were going to say? But with the partition shutting off the sector of the original leak, there is no way to access it. Yes, that is so. We entered the central control room. Sora checked the damage via the MMIH console. But I must sincerely apologize. Even though the second flooding was about to occur, I failed to notice and warn you all. As she manipulated the keys, Sora bowed her head, looking deeply apologetic. It's not your fault, Sora. We may have even overlooked the cause of this when we were checking around a little bit ago. We're all in this together. Not at all. Sora answered this without looking away from the monitor. My calculations and predictions were irresponsible. Don't you go trying to blame yourself for this. Everyone is fine. So let's just consider ourselves lucky. With her head bowed in silence, Sora kept working. Finally, her hands stopped typing at the keyboard. Sora turned and stood up. I have gauged our situation. I will now display it. Everyone, please do not be shocked or let this get you down. Oh no. That's not a good way to start a fucking pep talk. Sora, when you say it like that, it makes us nervous. Oh, I'm sorry. Still, I'm fairly confident that there are a few things that will shock me. I see. In that case, I thought everyone had probably numbed by what we would have experienced so far. Simply put, the cause of the second influx of water we experienced a short while ago, the sectors that were able to avoid damage during the first flooding were isolated from the flooding sections, and forced ventilation created a sudden reduction in air pressure. However, the inundated sectors were not able to withstand the weight of the water and tilted, causing a rupture of the joint in the adjacent sector. The gap in the internal and external air pressure caused seawater to be sucked into the complex through the rupture. So many of the sectors that were stable until that moment were instantly flooded. Lovely. That is the current situation of Drite's stock. This blinking area is the central control room, and this is the status of Zwite's stock. You serious? You mean nearly half of Lamu is underwater? There are 3 sectors in Drite that are not flooded. The area displayed in the center of this map is Sector 8, where we are. Huh? It looks like the map is displaying roughly 2 areas. Where's the 3rd sector? Actually, due to a flaw in the system, a detailed map cannot be displayed. One part of Sector 4, diagonally above Sector 8, is stable. There is no way to get there. Correct, it is impossible. Why? Because all of the corridors connecting the sectors are submerged. In terms of distance, it's roughly 100 yards. I don't think there's anyone among you capable of swimming 100 yards without breathing. Therefore, I say it is impossible. Furthermore, even if someone did reach Sector 4, I don't think it would improve our situation at all. Section 4 is in the same predicament as here. All of the emergency stairs to get to the floating island are completely flooded. So even going there would be a waste. That's correct. Well then, there's nothing we can do. We should forget about Sector 4. We'll just have to sit quiet and wait for help to come. Well, I guess we can take it easy for now. I left the room and hit the food stand, snagging some cola for everyone. Alright, cola time. I'm gonna toss everyone one. Ready? Oops, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm 1 short. Oh, I don't need one. Oh, don't worry about it. I'll go get one more. You can have mine. No, really, I'm fine. I'm not thirsty and I don't really like cola. Sora smiled. Well, in that case, I tossed out a cola to everyone in order. You, Tsugumi, and the kid all took one. But the kid started shaking his can. Stupid, what do you think you're doing? Huh? If you do that, it's going to explode everywhere. Really? Is it dangerous? Did you forget that cola is carbonated? I'm sorry. Jeez, I'll give you mine. Here. I switched cans with him. This time the kid slowly lifted the tab without shaking the can. The cola erupted powerfully. The rest of us hurriedly jumped to get out of the way. The kid got a blast of cola in the face. Hey, you alright? Just so you know, that wasn't my doing. This cola, it's sweet. Oh guys, you should be more careful. You said as if she was at her wit's end. These cans contain pop, made with special gas, so they're made at 6 atmospheres. Weren't you listening when they said that bringing in and taking home of canned beverages was strictly prohibited? Oh, I didn't know that. I must have missed it. It was true. Normally the inside of Lamu complex was maintained at 6 atmospheres using a mixture of gases. Now that the floor had become 1 atmosphere, the gas in the can was still highly pressurized, and the gap in pressure with the atmosphere made them burst when opened. I didn't know that. The kid wiped his face with a nearby towel. Hey kid, no one would expect you to know that. You gotta tell Mr. Amnesia here these things. Alright. I didn't notice until after the fact. Huh? Coco, what's wrong? Coco was embracing Pee-Pee and looking downcast. Thinking about it, I realized that Coco hadn't said anything for a while. Didn't seem like her. Hey, aren't you gonna drink your cola? I held out a can of cola in front of Coco. It's a little warm, but it's the best I can do. I don't want it. Coco mumbled this. I don't feel very good. I've been thinking about it since before, and I haven't been able to think of any jokes. Jokes? I peered down at Coco. She didn't look too good. She was sweating and having a hard time breathing. Hey, you don't look very good. Takeshi, get out of the way. You came running over to Coco, pushed me out of the way, and put her hands on the girl's shoulders. Coco, do you have a headache? Yeah, a bit. I feel kind of dizzy. What about if you swing your arms around? Does that hurt? Just a little. It looked like it hurt more than a little. I suspected it might be decompression sickness due to the sudden loss of pressure on the floor. Yeah, it could well be. Pee-Pee was looking up at Coco worriedly. Let's get her to this white infirmary. Takeshi, carry her. Huh? On your back, hurry up and squat down. Alright, alright. I want you to carry Coco. I got it, you don't have to scream in my ear. We were rushing up to Zweitstock some 56 feet above us. Coco held onto my back from behind. You and Tsugumi supported her from the sides. Sora led the way and Kid brought up the rear. We emerged at the second floor emergency corridor. Hey, are you sure we shouldn't take a normal corridor? Please proceed straight ahead. This is a shortcut. The emergency corridor was directly connected to the lift below the infirmary. Ooh, we made it. Let's get her up there. No, Takeshi, please go ahead into that room there. Huh? This is a medical compression chamber. We can treat decompression sickness here. Lay Coco down in there. Oh, alright. Coco lay on the bed. The Kid and Tsugumi watched all this from beside me. So you, what are you going to do in this tiny room? Isn't it a little cramped for examining it? The space was so small that with everyone in there we could hardly move. I'm not going to do anything. What are you talking about? We're going to have Coco relax in this room for a while. I tilted my head, confused. This is hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Allow me to explain. Decompression sickness occurs when there is a sudden change in the surrounding air pressure and gas bubbles that can't be discharged accrue in the body. Gas becomes air bubbles and these gather in the tissues or veins. When gas bubbles remain inside the body, the oxygen respiration efficiency drops dramatically. So no matter how many deep breaths you take, it feels like you're suffocating? That is correct, but also, if any nitrogen which is dissolved in the blood turns to gas, it could produce a thrombus or blood clot. Of course, this could hinder blood circulation, which is very dangerous. So we seal this room and pump in a high concentration of oxygen, slowly taking it up to roughly 3 atmospheres. Then we slowly decompress you back down to 1 atmosphere. Using this difference in pressure, we dissolve the gas bubbles in her body back into the blood, which she gets rid of them naturally by breathing. So basically, you make us like a can of cola that won't blow up. Yes, precisely. Okay, I got it. I lifted my hand. Gosh, that dash up the stairs sure wore me out. I heaved a breath. Oh, Takeshi, are you in pain at all? Huh? Me? My muscles feel kinda sore and I'm a bit sluggish, but... Hey Takeshi, don't you think you should probably go in the room too? In like cases of decompression sickness, you're not necessarily aware of it immediately. After you figure out you're in trouble, it's too late. Yeah, and the symptoms can be drawn out. Yes, just to be on the safe side, I want you to all enter the room. The decompression process took place over several hours. Coco lay on the only bed. The Kid, you, Pee-Pee and I sat next to her. It was cramped. We were like sardines in a can, there was nowhere to move. Last time Takeshi slept on the bed, remember? And snored the whole time. I wonder what time it was. I took out my PDA and checked. 11:54 PM. I was sleepy. Coco was sleeping, and her breathing was relaxed. It looked like she was doing better. It didn't look like you or the Kid were sleeping, but they sat quietly with their eyes closed. Pee-Pee had crawled under the bed. Sora had sealed the hatch from the outside and was adjusting the pressure as necessary. Sora, what about you? Don't you need to be treated? Before this process had started, I'd asked Sora this. No, I'm used to this. Oh, also, everyone, please remove your voice converters during the repressurization process. They are designed to protect your eardrums from the change in air pressure. However, during pressurization, they can interfere. I removed my earphones that I had become completely used to and held them in my hand. Sora still stood outside the hatch window. Tsugumi wasn't inside or visible outside the room. She left just before the pressurization process had started. When was Sora gonna sleep? Even though she's an AI. A simple doubt jumped to my mind. She was doing minute, complex work non-stop and she was always on her feet. Maybe she never got tired. When I spoke with her over the interphone and asked her if she was alright, she laughed and said she was just fine. And she was still standing outside the room. As if she were a sentinel guarding it. Her back was straight and she never slouched, always looking like she was at attention. Wondered if what she had said about being fine, not sleeping, days on end was true. It really bothers me. I thought I'd follow up on it later. Maybe you should listen to the instructions and then you'd know. Even as I thought that, my eyelids got heavier and heavier. But still, even so, today really was an eventful day. And then I fell away into a slumber. Oh, we're only on the second. We got a long way to go. Ooh, I'm sleepy. The lack of sleep made the echo of the shoes scraping the ground seem louder than usual. As I walked down the emergency corridor, I stretched. You was next to me. Coco and the kid trailed a little way behind us. And you slept so hard. Yeah, but what time do you think it is right now? 5:30 AM? That's right. So that means that I only slept for 4.5 hours. Not only, you slept that much. I don't know how you could sleep like that given our situation. It's because it is this kind of situation that we gotta sleep. Our minds have to be sharp. We have to be ready for anything, right? So your mind is sharp right now? Oh no, don't test me. Well, I'm still a bit sleep deprived, so not all my pistons are firing. But I think I'm doing about as good as the next guy. Huh? The next thing I noticed, you was no longer next to me. I stopped and looked back. I saw the kid and Coco disappearing down a side pathway to the right. I hurried after the three of them. And, how is Sleeping Beauty? You spoke to me sarcastically once I caught up. I just told you, I'm not running at full power. You let out an exasperated sigh and shrugged her shoulders. She also arched an eyebrow as if annoyed. Takeshi, you know, I think you'd better take a look in the mirror. Huh? Mirror? You really better wash your face. Oh, did they draw on me again? But I wasn't on the bed this time. We entered the emergency stairs from the emergency corridor. We'd just been rousted from sleep by Sora, and the four of us shuffled to the control room on the 3rd floor, Drite stock. We seemed to have passed through the decompression process without a hitch, as no one had any complaints. Even Coco, who had seemed to have had such a rough time, was sunny, sunny Sunday, windy, windy, windy Wednesday, pretty, pretty pee-pee today. Woof. Even the dog seemed in high spirits. They looked even happier than the day before. The water on the corridor floor splashed and sprayed as we walked. You walking next to me had clammed up. Wonder what she's peeved about. I slowed down my pace to walk with the kid. Hey, you got any idea why you's all miffed about? Who knows? The kid answered, grinning. Hey, what are you laughing about? Do you know something I don't? You sure don't have any ideas what it could be? If I did, I wouldn't be asking you. You told me to look in the mirror, but... Huh? Huh? That's no fun. The kid kept glancing at my face and trying not to smile. My face? I wiped the palm of my hand on my face. It looked like black ink was smeared there. What's this? I tried to wipe it off with my shirt collar, but it wouldn't come off. Oh, there's a toilet over there. The faucet was broken and the sink was overflowing with water. I hurriedly washed my hands and then my face. The mirror in front of me was shattered into many shards. It was useless. But most of the black had come off of my hands. So I thought my face was probably alright. That girl. I said it disgustedly and hurried out of the bathroom. I went up to you again. Hey you! What did you write on my face? Huh? While I was asleep you scribbled all over my face, didn't you? Scribble? As she walked, you gaped at my face. What is this guy talking about? You're probably still asleep. Don't play dumb with me, you. You were just talking about a mirror? Oh, was I? A mirror? You said it. I know you said it. Are you sure your ears aren't playing tricks on you? I'm pretty sure you're still half asleep. Then what's this? I showed him my shirt collar where I'd wiped the ink. What? You mumbled this, so I stepped closer. Wow. Suddenly she grabbed my hand and stared at my palm intently. Oh. Your palm has an interesting future for you. Palm reading? Is that what you're into now? Your palm tells me that your fate diverges into two distinctly different futures. It's kind of like an all or nothing outcome. That's totally true. You will either acquire or lose everything. Oh, lovely. One path will put you on the road to riches, a good job, an encounter with a beautiful woman, and bless you with a strong home and offspring. And you'll be as healthy as possible. You'll live to a ripe old age, and will make those around you jealous. However, if you take the other path, you will be in dire straits. Dire? Yes, but I can tell you no more. You should take a good look at the middle of your lifeline, because that is where the answer can be found. I looked down at the palm of my hand. My eyes traced a line down my lifeline. Wide-eyed, I scrutinized each wrinkle and line, but I didn't see an answer anywhere. There was still black ink in the creases of my hand. Black ink? Black ink? I remember what I was angry about. Forget fortune telling. You're trying to trick me. What? Hey! Next thing I knew, you was no longer beside me. I stopped and looked back. I saw the kid and Coco vanish into a small side corridor. Whoa, jeez. I don't believe these guys. I hurriedly chased after the three of them. Tsugumi was in front of the control room. She was leaning against the wall, her arms folded and facing down. Talk to her? I wonder where she could have run off to the day before, but decided not to ask. I decided to shower her with the cheeriest greeting I could muster. Good morning. How you feeling? If you aren't feeling good, you should probably get to the decompression chamber. Tsugumi didn't budge. She stood there with her mouth half open, only blinking her eyes a couple of times. What's the matter? You tired? Low blood pressure? Well, I didn't exactly sleep like a baby either. That damn room was so small I ended up sitting on the floor all night. I yawned and rubbed my eyes with both hands as I spoke. But then Tsugumi's eyes narrowed into slits and she leveled a steely glare at me. It was the kind of look that could kill. You are the absolute worst. Huh? Tsugumi shook her head as if she was fed up with me and vanished into the control room. Absolute worst? That's kind of brutal. Hey, hold on a sec. Takeshi? Sora's voice came from behind me. What are you doing there? Please hurry inside. But, just please go inside. The expression on her face appeared more stressed than the day before. It seemed as if her face said that something serious were unfolding. Something serious is always unfolding. We're on the path to death, potentially. I'm sorry that I had to have you gather so early. There was no other way. Actually, everyone, there is something I need to tell you right away. Sora paused for a second. Sora looked over at all five of us. You, Coco, the kids, Tsugumi, and finally me. The cooling fan whirred away in silence. Occasionally the sound of metal on metal would ring through the room. The five of us waited on Sora's next words. Last night, after the four of you, apart from Tsugumi, entered the pressurization chamber, I was in the control room here thinking about ways to escape or contact the outside. And while I was checking the internal status of Lemu, I discovered something. You found a way to escape? No. Then a way to contact the outside? Not yet. Then what'd you figure out? Actually, I discovered the strength of pressure the bulkheads can withstand. I found their limits. Saying that, Sora turned her eyes to the side of the console. In the darkness, a three-dimensional image of Lemu sprung up. What's the pressure bulkhead thingy? Coco held Pee-Pee tightly as she asked. I mean Lemu's walls, the partitions between the outer seawater and the inner air. What do you mean when you say you found the limit? Like I said yesterday, Lemu is a structure basically constructed on a saturation diving specification design. In other words, the internal air pressure is equal or is greater than the external water pressure. However, the complex's internal air pressure is currently at 1 atmosphere. Therefore, Lemu's outer shell is constantly being subjected to severe water pressure. Correct. But Lemu is not constructed to endure this situation for a long period of time. Inevitably, it will, at some point, reach its limit. Well put, you. So, when is this limit? According to MMIH's calculations, 119 hours from now. 119 hours? 5 days, huh? The estimated time of implosion is approximately May 7th at 4:30 AM. Of course, it is only a calculation and there is a margin of error. What's the margin of error? Plus or minus 12 hours. Everyone went silent, lost in thought. Sora's talk had made it clear that we were in a crisis. But I still didn't know what to make of it. I didn't know if 5 days was a long time or a short one. We didn't have a schedule, but if we could find a way out, I didn't figure we'd be sticking around 5 days. Even if we didn't call anyone, a rescue team might be on its way anyway. Hey, Miss Sora? I'm not very smart and I'm not sure I understand. What does all that mean? Does that mean at 4:30 AM on May 7th Lemu will get squished like a pancake? But that might happen at around 4:30 PM on the 6th, or at 4:30 PM on the 7th. Is that good so far? Yes. So, doesn't that mean the opposite is also true? I mean, at worst Lemu will last until 4:30 PM on May 6th. So we're fine until then, there's nothing to worry about. Hooray! Right? Is that what it means? We can't be absolutely certain that we'll be safe, but judging from the results of MMIH's calculations, that would appear to be the case. Oh goody, then no problem. Miss Sora, you looked all serious, and so I kinda got scared. Bow wow, woof. Geez, don't scare me, babe. I think that's what Pee-Pee's trying to say. Woof. I see. If you'd said, we only have one more day or something, I might have burst out crying. So we still have lots of time. Someone will surely come to help us before that. The kid standing next to you agreed. He nodded rhythmically, as if answering a question. The tension in the air gave way to smiles and returned to the faces around the room. Even Tsugumi, who didn't smile, looked relieved. It was 5:50 AM. I gave a large yawn. Alright, all done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all of them. I was in the narrow space of the chicken sandwich stand where the cooking equipment was. Wait. It's not a chicken sandwich stand. It's a tuna sandwich stand. It's a chicken sandwich stand when we were doing kids' side. Now it's a tuna sandwich stand. Get it right. I was wrapping and placing the freshly made breakfast sandwiches on a tray. Why is it that I have to make breakfast for everyone? Complaining, I took the tray in both hands and opened the small door of the stand. That's the way it goes. We decided it democratically, you know. Yu was waiting in front of the shop and snatched a sandwich from the tray. She peeled back the wrapping and opened her mouth. Democracy is overrated. It just means the majority rules. You got it. That means if you're unpopular, you get the short end of the stick. You said it flatly as she munched on the sandwich. It was a reflection of the majority of the people's will. It was true that it had been an overwhelming vote. I had only been appointed breakfast chief minutes before. I hadn't even run for the office. I know that you're the one in the shadows running this conspiracy. Whoa, that's low, I wouldn't do that. I'm pretty sure it's because everyone sincerely thought that you would be the best cook. You sure are full of it. Hehe. Thanks for the sandwich. You already ate it? That's so fast. Yummy, I'll have another. I slapped away Yu's outstretched hand. I've only made one for each person. You want another one? You make it. Hey, come on, be a pal and make one more pretty, please. First I wanted to get away from you. I took the remaining 4 sandwiches over to the rest area and handed them out. Breakfast is ready, come and get it. As I called out, I set the tray on the bench. Yeah, food, glorious food. Coco came running and splashed towards me. Pee-Pee the dog paddled along behind her. Oh, this looks good. All of a sudden I noticed the kid beside me. Hey, where is Tsugumi and Sora? Sora went back to the control room. She said there was still stuff she had to look into. Oh, that again. I think Tsugumi took off somewhere. Same old, same old. I turned my eyes to the 3 chicken sandwiches left on the tray. What to do? Go see Sora? Because we're going for the Sora ending. I decided to look in on Sora first. I'll look for Tsugumi later. I took their sandwiches in hand and left the room. Which way is it? I'd gone as far as the corner before I realized that I didn't know the route. Maybe it's this way. Finally, I found a room where the corridor played out. It's the Himmel door again. Himmel was written on the door. How are we going to figure out what's in there? Is that going to be Coco's ending? No, this isn't it. I retraced my route. Alright, here it is. Hey Sora, it's time for dinner. I pushed the open button next to the door, but the door didn't open. Hey Sora, open up. I brought you food. Time to eat. I shouted into the interphone as I pushed the button to talk. Eat? She replied to me through the speaker. Thanks for going to the trouble, but I don't need any food. You don't? Don't say that. Sora, have you been eating okay? You have to eat or you're not going to have any energy. She runs on electricity, I'm afraid. I'm sorry, but I'm occupied at the moment. I remembered that we'd had the same exchange the day before. Hurry it up, these sandwiches are going to get cold. Besides, I made them special for you. Listen, I just want to give these to you, so will you open the door? I really can't. Come on, please, just open the door, Sora. I'll throw in a coupon for a beer if you want. I'm sorry. We kept arguing through the speaker. Alright then, I'm only going to wait out here for 1 more minute. 1 more minute? You're giving me a hard time. I have to go somewhere. Huh? Somewhere where? Hey Sora, where are you going? Hello? Hello? I pushed the button again and again, shouting, but Sora didn't answer. Just then, the lights in the corridor began to flicker uneasily. I instinctively glanced up at the ceiling. I strained to hear as the dull, growl-like sound shook the floor. What? What is happening? It couldn't be. Tiny waves formed in the water, pooled on the floor. The walls and ceiling trembled slightly. Metal screeched on metal, as if they were trying to say something to me. Darkness blanketed me. The vibrations and sounds died away. Only an eerie silence enveloped us. On the other emergency lights glowed dimly. Only the other emergency lights. Is this a blackout? I wonder what happened to Sora. Hey Sora, answer me. Sounds like she's the one who put the power out. I pounded the door. I thought she might not be able to hear me inside. Then I tapped the interphone button, but there was no response. Oh, I wonder if the interphone needs electricity to work. I wonder if Sora needs electricity to work. I had no clue what was happening on the other side of the door. I figured the only thing I could do was get the door open. I heard footsteps approaching from the darkened corridor. Who's there? In the far darkness, I could just make out 4 familiar outlines. Oh, Takeshi. Takepion. I walked through the water. The 3 of them walked over. Have you seen Sora? No, but she was inside here until just a bit ago. But now she won't answer. And it seems like the door is locked. What happened? I don't know. Anyway, let's get inside. How do we get this open? Oh, there's an emergency mechanism for opening the door near the bottom of it. Pulling the lever, I pushed the door over to the side. The door opened just wide enough for a person to squeeze through. I peeked inside the room. It was pitch black. I couldn't see a thing. Do you want a flashlight? Oh, thanks. I gave the kid the sandwich and took the flashlight. I turned it on and stepped into the room. A white circle of light appeared on the wall. I swung the light left and right and shined it in the corners of the room. The electricity was completely down. Like an abandoned castle, there was no sign of warmth left. There was clearly nobody there. Well, what should we do? I joined everyone and said this calmly. It had been one crisis after another since the day before. I guess we're already used to the situation because nobody lost it. I can't believe Sora would take off without saying anything first. You tilted her head as she said this. Looking at her, I noticed something. You, when did you change clothes? Huh? Oh, this? You was wearing clothes I hadn't remembered seeing. I spilled sauce all over my uniform. I had one of these clothes in my changing room. These are my everyday clothes. I'm not surprised you spilled sauce on yourself when you ate a sandwich like a fucking vacuum cleaner. I see. So you had to change your clothes. Spilling sauce on your uniform? That's pretty clumsy. You scratched your head as if to offset her embarrassment. Anyway, you should be thinking about Sora. Yeah, for now. Let's everyone split up and look for Sora. Without Sora around, we won't know why there was a blackout or anything. Yeah, Sora knows more about Lamu than anyone. Alright, let's do this. You and the kid, you guys check this floor. Tsugumi and Coco, and I will hit the second floor. Okay? Huh? Alright. Roger that. What about Pee-Pee? Of course, he'll go with you. I petted Pee-Pee's head. Alright, let's go search. Woof. Sora? Sora? The 3 people and 1 mutt, myself, Tsugumi, Coco, and Pee-Pee, split up once we reached Whitestock. The entrance to the neutral buoyancy elevator inside the infirmary, the changing room, the security office, the merry-go-round. We searched everything, even the jellyfish gondola. Then we retraced our way back to the front of the infirmary, and then... Takepion! Takepion! Woof woof woof! Coco was shaking the flashlight and signaled to me. I'd handed it to her before we started searching. How'd it go? Any luck? Coco used the flashlight to make a big X signifying nothing found. How about you? Nothing, she's not on this floor. What about Tsugumi? Tsugumi just passed by in front of me. Passed by? She went that way, toward the entrance to the egg elevator. The neutral buoyancy elevator, huh? Yeah. She was carrying something big. Something big? Sounded like Tsugumi was up to something solo again. I'll go check it out. Coco and I moved to the next room next door. There were signs of someone there. Ahead in the pitch darkness was something rustling around. Tsugumi? Calling out, Coco shined the light on the shadow. Hey, that's bright. As expected, it was Tsugumi. She held out the palms of her hands as she stood up. Coco hurried to turn off the flashlight and rushed over by Tsugumi. I followed her over with Pee-Pee. What are you doing here? I don't understand what you mean by Hey, what are you doing? Looking into something. What? This elevator. The egg elevator? Yes. What do you need this big thing to investigate for? Coco pointed down by Tsugumi's feet. There lay a massive plastic case. I was sure I'd seen it in the warehouse the day before. It looked like a toolbox, but I'm gonna need this later. Right now, I'm just checking the status of the elevator. Whether it'll move or the doors open manually. Tsugumi was loads more talkative than usual. Her attitude towards Coco was much nicer than the one she had towards me. It seemed to me that Coco's unique personality kept even Tsugumi off balance. So how about it? Does it look like the elevator will move? Maybe. Tsugumi glanced at me as she said this. Hey, but what good would using the elevator do you? I thought we'd go down to the 3rd floor. 3rd floor? Why don't we just use the emergency stairs like we always do? Because those stairs won't get us where we need to go. Huh? They won't get us to the generator room. Generator room? That reminded me of what you had said. Lemur didn't receive any power from the outside, but had an in-house generating system. She said this facility pumped up hot water from a thermal seafloor vent, using heat from it to operate the power generator. But why do you need to go there? Because it's a pain with the lights off. Huh? To make repairs. I think the cause of the blackout is the generator. Oh, I see. So that's why you need this big box. Yes. Oh, I get it now, that makes sense. Tsugumi was finally freed from Koko's barrage of questions. Alright, I'm going down. Takeshi, could you come along? Huh? Me? Without thinking, I shot a question back at her. The question was pretty sudden and caught me off balance. Besides, I thought that it might have been the first time that she called me by my name. First, there's one thing that I want to ask you. What? You said something about the emergency stairs not leading to the generator room, right? Yeah, so what? Don't you remember the map of Lemur that we saw yesterday? Map. I press on my temples with my fingers, trying to tease out a buried memory. Two maps of the third floor was divided into two areas. Do you remember? I can't say that I remember exactly, but kinda, yeah. And what was between those two areas? Between them? How am I supposed to know? There wasn't anything there. Exactly. Which means the two areas are divided by a block which is now underwater? Which means that we can't move directly from the control room area to the generator room area. So, oh, I see. We have to get to the generator room area. We have to access the second floor. And the only way we can do that is by using the neutral buoyancy elevator. Could you help me out? But do you think it's alright? I mean, we haven't asked Sora's opinion. Now, we don't know if the cause of the blackout is really the generator. I don't think that'd do you any good. Huh? I don't think you're going to find Sora, because of the blackout. The control room computer is going to be down. Even if Sora were around, she wouldn't be able to contact MMIH. The only thing we can do is go check out the generator, right? I suppose so, but so what are you going to do? Will you come along? Takeshi, I really need you. Those words shocked me. I thought my heart stopped for a second. I really need you? These are not words I ever expected to hear from Tsugumi's mouth. Tsugumi stared straight at me. Her intense gaze made me uncomfortable. Please. Alright, we're gonna wrap this one up because we're super duper out of time. But I wanted to end that sequence before we wrapped it up, you know. But this is gonna be a long one. And obviously the next one, when we do Tsugumi's run, is gonna be much shorter because we can skip most of it. Except for the slight dialogue, the few bits of new dialogue, and the ending, of course. And then Coco's one, I assume, is going to be almost all new again, but I don't really know. I'm curious to see what happens, though, because it's very different, but very the same. Tsugumi's very different. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.